Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode. So back at the workshop again, working on the black Arnage T, and we managed to get some parts in which we were waiting for. There was a back order on brake pads, funny enough. I mean, you'd think that would be sort of easy to get, but they just weren't. So we've got the brake pads in, we've got the new HT leads in, so changing all of those. And also one of the it's one of the valves for the I can't remember now, but anyway, so a couple of those for the engine, because we had a misfire and we wanted to get that sorted out. So let's spin around and have a look at the car and see what is going on. Yeah, so Paul, you reckon check the injectors, yeah? Okay. That doesn't surprise me actually, because the fuel over here is not great, and it happens on a lot of cars where there's like injector problems and things like that. So it doesn't surprise me. I'm not particularly worried about it. But it's not smoking or anything like that, which is good. But you can just hear it there, the misfire. There is a little bit of a misfire, so we'll get the fuel filter changed and then the injectors checked. Okay, so there is good news and bad news. The good news is that there is the connector that I was saying. All that gunk on it is from before, but basically they've connected it properly now and sealed it properly. There's no leaks coming from there. There's no leaks coming from here. This here is from before, so I'm not really worried about that. This is all dry, nothing here. Steering rack is all good, so no issues that I can see there. But that is the good news. Now on to the bad news. All four discs need skimming, and the pads need changing. But the bigger issue is that we do have a misfire. They're going to test the injectors, which basically means taking off the manifolds and getting to the injectors. So that's one thing. But also the fuel return piping has been capped off. So at some point in its life, it was a problem to the previous owners, and rather than replace the actual cable, what they've done is they've actually capped it. So there's no fuel that can go from the engine back to the fuel tank. At least one of the cables is capped off. Not sure about the other one. So that's something that needs to be looked at and addressed. Other than that, the AC is also empty, it seems. So we need to get that looked at as well. And rear anti-roll bar linkages are snapped as well, or broken, so one of them is broken. So we need to replace both of those, and possibly a few other things as well. So as you can see, engine is very much open at the moment, and we want to get this all finished off today. So just putting the intercoolers back in, and the brake pads have been fitted. All four brake pads have been changed. So the discs themselves were really warped, and the old pads were obviously warped as well. So we've skimmed the discs and we've changed the pads, and then we're going to bleed the brake system, and and then that should mean that the brake pads are all good, so all issues resolved around there. So yeah, this is coming along. Hopefully we've got all the parts we need to complete today's activity, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get it on its wheels, started, get it running, and it'll be the first drive actually. I've never driven this before, so it'll be nice to get it all done. It's all a little bit dusty. Not sure I approve of the cardboard on the back over there, but I suppose it's cardboard, so it could be worse. But just want to get this all back on the ground. We changed the rear shocks. We had them rebuilt back in the UK. Also had the steering column rebuilt as well, so that's all been changed. I noticed that these parts are still here, So these are the shock accumulators. That actually might be the old ones. I'm not entirely sure, so I'll ask him if he's changed those or not. Those are my wheels. I would have preferred the standard Arnage T wheels. These are chromed. I think they're Arnage R wheels, but they were an option. But anyhow, it is what it is. I'm not looking to change that right now. Still a lot to do on the car, so it's certainly not done once this is back on its wheels. And I'll run through that in another video, or maybe later in this video. So we're just fitting in the intercooler. It basically plugs into the back over there and then over here, and then it seems to be held in by a bolt over there as well, and there's various pipes that need to be fitted in, like this one here. So yeah, it seems, I say fairly straightforward, but yeah, that's easy for me to say. Okay, so this is now back in. It's all connected up, the hoses. There's hoses underneath, used to be bolted in there. We're now just filling up with coolant. We've just topped up some engine oil. They did change it before, but needed topping up. And now I think that's a fuel pipe. So this was the valves that I was talking about. Now the problem is this is actually bigger in diameter than the ones that came out of the car, so that's a bit of a problem. I think that he said that they can do a temporary fix, but if I just have a look, I think over here, yeah, so that's the original, and you can see that's a lot smaller than the ones that they've sent through. So you can just see there's a completely different size. So I'm not sure why it's come through different, and you can see it's snapped off there. So I think this is a fuel breather or something like that. Can't exactly remember. But he said he'll do some sort of temporary thing for it. Okay, so first starts since we've put it all back together. So it could be a number of things, so let's just wait and give it another crank, I guess. There we go. There we go. Sounds okay, I think. But it did have a misfire, so it'll be interesting to see if that has been cleared. So we just stopped it to check the levels, checking the transmission level here, coolant level, and I think he's going to start it up. So now we got it started. Started it up again. Started up pretty much straight away after I was filming last time. So I don't want to get too excited, but yeah, no, it seems good. Need to get the brake fluid changed, I think. I don't think that's been done yet. And the wheels back on. Check the AC to see if there's any leaks. There may well possibly be a leak. And then I can take it out for a test drive. So that's the plan, at least anyway. And hopefully we'll get all that done today. Once it's out for a test drive, then we'll be able to spot any other problems. I'm not taking the car away today, but you know, just at least be able to identify what problems we have, and then if there's any other parts we need to order. So good news, we've managed to now bleed the brakes. The wheels are getting fitted back onto the car, so that's all taking shape now. We'll be able to have this on the ground in the next sort of 10-15 minutes. The car's been running fine. We ran it for about half an hour, and it was running fine. I mean, it sounded great, no leaks or anything like that. So all in all, looks good. A few things still that need doing, we know that, but there's no sort of significant problems. It doesn't have any AC in the system, any gas in the system, and it is 44 degrees outside, or 46 or something. So it's extremely hot outside. I probably still would take it for a run, but I'm hoping we can put some gas inside it first, and then hopefully that will be it will have AC as well. So should also mention that there was a noise that was coming from inside, and I thought it was the blower fan. But then we got the car started, ran it, let it warm up, and we switched the blower fan on, and the blower fan was absolutely fine. So it's not the blower fan, it's like a little squeak. You'll hear it when I'm driving the car. I'll drive it in a little bit, and we think it's maybe the immobilizer or something like that, but it does start, so not entirely sure what it is. I feel like putting a bullet through it though, whatever. That seems to be making that noise. Very dusty, as you see. It hasn't been washed in absolutely ages, so I'll be looking forward to getting it washed, and then it probably needs to be polished as well. Probably going to take these tints off, certainly from the front windows. It's just too dark for my liking, but yeah, that's kind of a job for another day. And then we will fully detail this car as well. We'll fully detail it on the channel. And for those of you who don't know, I am actually a Zymol detailer as well. It's not something I do day to day now, but I'm a master Zymol detailer. I used to have a detailing company in Dubai, and so I went through the full training. So I'm going to be looking to fully Zymol this car. So for those of you who are interested in that, then do subscribe, because I'll be doing that in a future episode.